Hello everybody, welcome back to JTP, and today I'll be analyzing the 2022 US Senate map and see how things stand as of this moment. And before I get started, please subscribe if you think this channel and video deserves a rating. Many things happened. We had Texas primaries, and Arizona primaries, Pennsylvania primaries. I know Texas primaries long ago, but I'm just saying, and the New York primaries. Everything was happening, but then this election came in New York. The primaries, absolutely devastating for the Republican Party. Starting with the 23rd special election, if I can pronounce it right, Sempolinski, barely or only won this place with like 6 points. He underperformed Donald Trump in, if I could say, a blue wave year. And that's just bad. It could do, and I do think this is very due to the fact of Republicans had low voter turnout, and they're gonna need to have more voter turnout in more of these elections. And in the 19th election, somehow Molinaro lost. This is a Trump plus 2 2020 district. Molinaro had more funding and still lost. And I think if Republicans want to continue, or at least want to win the midterms, they're going to have to put in more, try to get more voter turnout and everything. And this isn't it. There's more devastating news for the Republican Party. In the primaries, Langworthy defeated Palladino, and that's only one of the examples, and he wasn't even the incumbent. That's only one of the examples of America First people, or just all these people winning and America First people losing, if I could say. And I just think this was a bad night for Republicans. And I think one thing we can learn from this is we need more voter turnout. And they're just, but overall it was a bad night for Republicans. And now I'm going to jump into Mandela Barnes and what he said, the flippable 5. He thinks it's possible for Cherry Beasley to flip North Carolina. He thinks it's possible for Val Demings to win in Florida, a state that's moving rapidly Republican, and a state where DeSantis is probably going to win with closer to 10 points. And Mandela Barnes, a person who thought or said bad about our country's founding, he thinks Wisconsin can go blue, and he thinks Ron Johnson could lose even with his appeal to the Wild Counties. And Tim Ryan, he thinks Tim Ryan can win here. He is, I guess, not as radical as other Democrats, but still, he still thinks Tim Ryan can defeat J.D. Vance in a state where Trump won with 8 points. And actually, I'm going to go to RCP real quick in this poll. Ohio Senate, Vance versus Ryan. Trafalgar Group has Vance plus 5, which is kind of scary if you think about it. This is supposed to be a big Republican place, plus 8 or whatever. But again, you have to look at the polls in 2020. Trafalgar did not expect Trump to win with 8. I forgot how much they put him at, but it was way lower than 8. And we have to take that into consideration. And Vance plus 5, I do think it would be way more than that, probably nearer to 10, probably 8 or something. But I don't have an official prediction on that as of this moment. And in Pennsylvania, John Fetterman, I think that's the most likeliest, if any of them, to flip John Fetterman. But this is going to be a competitive race. It is. It could be flippable. Fetterman criticized Oz about eat your vegetables health advice. I mean, Amendment Oz is just a horrible candidate. He's trying to appeal, but by not being really a political person. But it's not really working out for him. Fetterman's just slamming him left and right, which is not good. It's not good. But I think he's doing well, I guess, in Philly suburbs, but he's really not getting the base. But the only reason why I see this race might going red is because of Mastriano. They do think Mastriano will help him with the base, as he does have an appeal. I think he'll defeat Shapiro. He has a really good establishment, and therefore maybe Oz might get carried to the finish line, but it's gonna be a really tight race. But we're just gonna have to wait and see what happens in Pennsylvania. Next, going to the state of Georgia. Well, in the state of Georgia, Herschel Walker is chosen to be the nominee. We're talking about a professional or former professional football player, and he won the primary easily. He won it easily, and he's going against Senator Raphael Warnock, a radical liberal, who won in 2020 due to Kelly Loeffler's unpopularity in the Democrat wave year, with Atlanta suburbs becoming more blue, higher turnout, but just overall, he isn't really a good candidate. I think John Ossoff, as of now, would do better. Just Kelly Loeffler's popularity she was unpopular. So yeah, but we still have to take into consideration how much Georgia's Atlantic suburbs, Atlanta suburbs are trending blue. I mean, I agree Georgia will be a Democrat state in the future. It's very much looking like it. But will it hold on to be a red state at least for one more Senate season? We're just gonna have to wait and see. I do think it's very possible Herschel Walker could defeat Warnock if he can. I'm pretty sure just increase by 1 point in every single Atlanta suburb in Atlanta or whatever. He will win Georgia. And I don't think Walker will win. Herschel Walker is way more popular than Kelly Loeffler, and I do think Georgia might go red at least one more time. But again, we're just gonna have to wait and see what happens. And in the state of Arizona, Blake Masters is chosen to be the nominee. He is chosen to be the nominee. And actually, he actually defeated Jim Lamont, Mark Brnovich, who couldn't even go above 25 percentage points. And if we're talking about the general election, he would have maybe lost to Mark Kelly. Jim Lamont also lost to Blake Masters, who was a venture capitalist. He's pretty good, I think. And it might be tough against Mark Kelly, but Mark Kelly, in 2020, he was, your friendly astronaut, moderate Democrat, just like Bill Nelson. And then he just lost it, and he started voting on Democrat bills left and right. Kept on voting on the Democrat side and wasn't proving to be a moderate. I mean, he isn't even trying. At least Christine Sinema is actually trying to do that. And I do think it's still going to be close. Oh, yeah. And Bill Nelson, what happened in 2018, a blue wave year? Bill Nelson lost to Rick Scott, which can be also due to the reason of Florida's trends, but still considering an incumbent, Bill Nelson, who won, I think, a big margin last election, lost. It did not work out for him, even when he was a NASA person. So yeah, Arizona will be a close race, I think, but I do think Blake Masters still has a shot, and I do think it's very clear a path for him to win in Arizona. In Nevada, the most likely state I think will go red, even despite everything pointing to Democrats. Literally, it's one of the only states that still has Republicans leading. Besides this poll, absolutely ridiculous, I'm pretty sure. Trafalgar Group, which said Vance would win with 5, says Laxalt would win with 3. And will he win with 3? Maybe, maybe not. But still, he's leading with 3. He's a very good person. I think he was a former attorney general, I believe. I don't remember. Don't take my word, or take my word with a grain of salt. But either way, he holding an office in Nevada, and I believe in a blue wave year, he only lost the governorship by like 4 points, and that's pretty good for Laxalt. I do think Laxalt does have a good establishment. He will win Nevada. That's one of the states I probably think will go red. the state of Nevada, especially with the trends happening in Nevada of Hispanics turning more Republican as election cycles or 2020 and all went on. And now, let me go to Wisconsin and North Carolina. Oh no, I already went with North Carolina, or I guess we already have that settled. North Carolina could be above 5. I do think it very well could. Even RCP had Trump by 0.1 or so, and he ended up winning with a lean margin. It was pretty close though, but still a lead in the blue wave here. I do think North Carolina has a very good shot in becoming a likely red state. I do think it could even be that. Very likely. I might as well just move it to that column, but it could also be a lean. And with the state of New Hampshire, New Hampshire is essentially a blue state. It's certainly a blue state, but it's still competitive. Chuck Morse or Joe Boduck, think that was the name, will or win the election. Either one of them. I think Chuck Morse might have the better advantage in winning. I'm not sure. But either way, I do think Hessen will win this race. She won in a red wave year against an incumbent Kelly Ayotte, or Ayotte, if that's how you pronounce it. And I do think she will win again. I think she's doing really pretty good in polls. And she will win re-election in New Hampshire. So yeah, this is my explanation to Senate as of this moment. And it did go down for Republicans. It did. I can hear, it did go down. But Republicans and Democrats, I guess, have a chance of winning. Democrats, maybe. But we're just gonna have to wait and see what happens. This election will be really interesting. If we see a Republican victory, this shows us not to trust the polls. And if we see a Democrat victory, that's a big warning sign for Trump if he runs in 2024. So yeah, that's it for today's video. Thank you so much, and have a great day. Bye.